So this is session 7 of our Mutant Year Zero game. We've been playing through. We're in the midst of some changes with the arc, and we have a couple new characters on the table for this evening. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of this first section of the game kind of getting them oriented and set up into the arc. We're going to try and do it pretty quick to get them into the action as soon as possible. We introduced a new person last week, and I didn't do it nearly as quickly as I wanted to. So we're gonna kind of do that more quickly this time. So let me have Jesse. I know that you've got your character pretty put together here.
Sure.
Do you want to tell us what your character is, what they can do?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. My character's name is Denko. He is a stalker. Let's see. As far as talents, I've got scavenger, so very good at the find a path skill to be able to scavenge and find artifacts. Also have archaeologist to help me comprehend ruined buildings or other installations from the old age. My mutation is tracker, so I've got an incredibly developed sense of smell, which is going to help me with a few different things, like let's see, following the trail of a person or monster, sensing any enemies that are sneaking up on us, and smelling grub out in the zone. Let's see, primarily uses a bow and arrow. I think being quiet out there is kind of his MO. Probably lives primarily on the periphery of what's going on in the arc, doesn't get involved in much politics, I would imagine, and feels more at home out in the zone.
That's cool. Do you imagine that Denko has visible signs of his mutation or not?
I was thinking about that, and I wasn't sure if it was a little too on the nose, and forgive the pun there, just to have like a little, maybe I was thinking like a tuft of fur, like kind of on the bridge of his nose that just kind of stood out, actually as a different color hair than the rest. And it's kind of strange. And he just sniffs everything when he's going around.
That makes perfect sense. So that is pretty cool. Let me come over, and I am going to come back to you in a bit when we kind of get our relationship stuff. I will have the two pre-existing PCs introduce themselves, but I want to check in. Michael, you said you were doing a boss.
Yeah.
Electra, right?
Yep. Yeah, I've got some basic info in that character sheet and sort of a loose idea of the character. Do you want me to go through kind of what I'm thinking here?
Yeah. Tell us what you're thinking.
So I think that Electra is like, I don't know how the boss system works, but I think she only recently became a boss. Like my idea of it is that she kind of inherited that, I think her father was killed off in probably some conflict involving the other bosses. And she's kind of stepped in, and she's really eager to prove herself. And the best way that she knows that is by being especially vicious. She's probably done something recently to kind of like assert that like, hey, like, I'm like the new boss on the block. Maybe she like cut somebody's legs off at the knees. I think if we're going to go with anything, I think that works for me. That somebody, I think it was whoever killed her father, maybe, or somebody who worked for them. She still hasn't found like the actual, she hasn't gotten revenge on the person like completely behind it, but like one of the people she's enacted revenge on. But she's really like, she really feels like she has to prove that she's tough and as vicious as any of the other bosses, and like would really, I mean, like long term, she would want to take them out and like be running the whole show. Like short term, she's got to stake out her survival by proving herself any way she can.
Okay. And it wouldn't be your father, since no one has parents. Everyone is about the same age.
Okay.
They arrived here. So it would probably be essentially your mentor, whoever was the boss. Right. Who you were under,
like their lieutenant or someone who kind of learned things under them.
Okay. So I may do some framing to hook you into what's going on that may shift that up a little bit. So if I do that,
move around with that.
Yeah, if I do that, don't tell me if I'm pushing too far on that. But we'll try and get that set up. And what power does Electra have?
I took human magnet, the ability to generate magnetic fields at will.
Awesome.
Maybe I sawed off that person's legs.
Yeah. You're going to get, both you and Jesse will start with 3 mutation points.
Okay.
Because you're coming in a little bit later. Our existing players get to add another mutation point to their total as they get one at the start of each session. Let me have the other 2 introduce themselves. And then I'm going to put some names of some NPCs to hate and some NPCs to love on the table. So let's start with Obakai.
Cool. So Obakai is an enforcer. They are a crocodile person or an alligator person, whatever. Actually, I think crocodile. They have a scarred body, very muscular, very large, stocky. They have a metal lower jaw that any KO, Sherry's character, actually put on for them. They use they them pronouns because they're very like their mutation is very obvious, and they feel a little bit alienated in the community, so much so that they have sort of pledged their loyalty to Brictoria, who is a boss who is a little more in favor of making expeditions out into the zone, and she has more people with obvious mutations under her wing. That's mostly it. Obakai is I have combat veteran and bodyguard and never surrender, so they are a very efficient fighter, very tactically minded, sort of a hunter type. And yeah, their big dream is to the fall of Orion, who is another one of the bosses, and he's a punk, so I don't like him.
Excellent. And any KO?
Okay, my name is Annie KO. If you looked at me, you might think, oh, kind of feline, but it's not like super strong. It's just some of the facial features. She's got a weird set of mutations, gives people the heebie-jeebies. They're not entirely sure what it is. Some people know she can kind of heal people, but she's kind of good at turning someone who's really powerful can end up not being so powerful around her. So it's just some people with some of the really fighty kind of things don't like to be around her, and because she's a parasite, if you need to know that. So anyway, she is a gearhead, and she's really pretty smart. And if you ask her, she'll tell you she's really smart. And she's feels like she's pretty much a lot smarter than most of the scholars are, but that doesn't matter because what she's mostly looking for is stuff to figure out and stuff to get working and things to do. She always wants to be busy, and she's always poking at things. So pretty much that's what you've got, is someone who's going to get in the way of things if you've got something cool.
That makes perfect sense. And so what I want to do is I want to put 4 names on the table. These are NPCs that we've already gotten mentioned. I'm going to quickly go through who they are. And I want Jesse and Michael, each of you, to pick one as a person you dislike intensely. So get this. So I think the 4 that we can pick from are Orion. He's one of the bosses. We don't have a picture for him there because I keep forgetting to grab it. Even though Matt nicely supplied us with an image. I'll kind of get that in there. He is the boss of the party barge, which is the sort of oil rig that is just off from the Ark. Here, I'll pull the map up on Roll20 so you can see. Got the crossing. We've got the party barge off to the side there. We have Jonatz. He's an enforcer for Marlot. He wears this big steel helmet, carries an axe, and is kind of an asshole. And was taunting one of the other characters last session. Then we have Carp Face. who has been mentioned. And Sherry, tell us about Carpface.
Carpface is one of a group of the mutants who is kind of given up, and all they want is to get more mutations. So they actually go and drink the nasty river water that's out there, and they're sort of trying to become more powerful by getting more mutations from the environment. Mostly they just get sick and have sores and all of that stuff. But Carpface actually does seem to be getting stronger, and he's kind of creepy, and he's been following me around, so I loathe him.
And then the last one is Azazel. He's a chronicler, which means he has access to the Elder. And he's been taking advantage of that. There's been a kind of a change in the various chroniclers, and a number of them have died off recently. And Azazel is taking the opportunity to consolidate power and kind of lording that over people. Jesse, any of those appeal to you as somebody you would like to hate?
Absolutely. The last one is, and I'm just confused because what you typed was Azrael. Is it Azrael or Azazel?
It is Azazel. Matt
Azazel.
Caught me on that one.
Okay, Azazel, definitely. Then I would say that someone that's politicking that hard, that is so anti my way of life, and I have to imagine that I've had nasty run-ins where I just didn't understand how to handle the social and political aspects, and I probably got screwed over by him at some point. So yeah, I'm definitely going with Azazel.
Awesome. And for Electra, which one of these?
I was thinking of actually Azazel or Orion. Would it be too repetitive for us both of us to go Azazel?
No, it's not necessarily repetitive. That certainly works.
If it's something that you can work with, then I kind of want to go for it, because I think that she thinks that Azazel was involved in the conspiracy that took out her mentor and the guy who was kind of running her gang before she was. She's gone to Azazel to find out what information he has, because he seems to know a lot, but he's given her the cold shoulder completely, and she thinks that he was behind it.
Awesome. And do you have a name for your mentor?
I wrote down Rajon a minute ago. Rajon.
Okay. So I imagine Rajon would have been one of the smaller bosses. Got killed off. You suspect that he had something or knew something ahead of time. And that there might be a reason why people went after him. Mm-hmm. Let me give you the names of 3 people that you want to protect. I'm going to give this real quick.
While you're doing that, can I ask Michael a quick question?
Sure.
Since we both hate Azazel, do we hate him separately, or is that something, do you think, that we have talked about and are kind of both on the hate Azazel team together? Do you think it's an individual thing, we don't know each other very well, or do you think we're kind of bonding over that?
I feel like we might have some awareness, but I don't know if we're really bonding over it yet, because my reason is I think he's got this conspiracy against me. It seems like you just don't like the guy because he's on a totally different wavelength from you.
Yeah. Yeah, screwed me over, but yes, yeah, okay, that's fine. I'd be interested.
If I know
in
that he screwed you over, then that's something that we can. I think maybe I've just kind of become aware that we kind of have this mutual enemy, but maybe we haven't quite worked together on it yet.
Sounds good.
I have 4 possible NPCs. These are people that you want to protect, and these are color things. We may not see these characters either. But I want to get them on the table just for our thinking. The first one is Arby. Arby is a gearhead. He has gotten. Hold on a second. Sorry. He's gotten poisoned by the algae eaters that used to be there, and affected there. And he's kind of coming back from that. In particular, NEKO is trying to nurse him back to health. Beira is this woman who they found out in the zone. She has a daughter, and so She's unusual. She's one of the first people from the outside that they found, and it's one of the first, people that aren't your age. The child that she has. There's Victoria. She's one of the smaller bosses down at the sort of the front of the boat. And there's a word for that, but I don't know it, or I can't remember it right now, so we won't worry about it. But anyway, down at the front of the boat, and she's the boss for our enforcer character, Obakai, or Tula. Now, Matt, you said that you thought Tula wasn't who I said Tula was.
I just remember, I think I have a note up here that Tula is Syntax's young friend Syntax's old sort of mentor figure that Davin
you're right. It should be Elon.
Right.
Elon is the enforcer there. Elon is an enforcer that Enikio has looked over in the past as an enforcer who has been known to go out of her way to protect people. So that's the fourth one there. Any of those appeal to you, Jesse?
Beira, sorry,
okay.
Specifically. Yeah, like how long ago did Beira come to the Ark at this point, like from the outside?
Beira arrived now probably like just a couple weeks ago. Was brought in. It was brought in by another stalker and the other PCs. So it could certainly be that, if you know the other stalker, and that would be Syntax, he might have asked you to look after Beira while he's out.
I like that. I like that idea. And I think just with my general fascination with the outside and everything out there, that's just such an interesting mystery. And yeah, I think that would be someone I would get closer to.
Awesome. And Michael, what about you?
I'm thinking Victoria, probably one of the very few, if even the only boss that didn't give me the cold shoulder after what happened. She's actually helped me out a bit. I think there's like an element of like the small boss has got to stick together sort of thing, that she's probably also kind of worried about getting, either pushed out or killed off or something. So we've kind of got a mutual cause there.
Excellent. And you will know that one of Victoria's things is she's very much a hard worker boss, but she's also one of the bosses that has been looking at, okay, how are we going to survive outside? Yeah. If we have to leave the Ark, and eventually we're going to have to, how do we survive out there? And in fact, she has some people in her crew who would very much like to just abandon the ship and go elsewhere, out into the zone without any protection. But anyway, that's the deal there. So the other thing that we're going to decide is, Jesse, what do you think? We kind of know what your relationship is to Beira, and we've got that you and Electra share a camaraderie and a shared hatred of Azazel. What do you think your relationship is going to be to our gearhead Enikio? How do you feel about her? They have some examples in the playbook, but you don't necessarily have to go with those.
Let me see. I'm just trying to. It's hard because I don't feel like I have a super strong grip on the character yet. As far as
I know.
I think. So Enikio, you're a kind of a tinker. You're doing like a gearhead. Like what kind of stuff do you do with that skill? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I can make a still. I can make a thing work. I can repair stuff. I can, let's see, I'm really good at throwing dice, if you ask me. I'm pretty much, I'm good with whatever gear you have. I can make the gear better. Those are kinds of the things I do.
That sounds like the kind of person that, I mean, but you do steal abilities, right? So, I mean, that makes me, I mean, I almost want to say that I think I'm like kind of like I really dig you, and I think that that's a very cool thing because I mean, I rely on my gear when I go out there, so making sure that I know and trust the person that's helping me with that is important.
Right.
But I'm a little concerned about the rest.
Yeah, well, the stealing thing is kind of uncertain. People aren't sure what happens. It's like their stuff stops working sometime around her.
I guess I'm used to being considered an outsider, so I think the fact that other people have some odd feeling about you doesn't bug me at all. So I think I'm good with you. Like that's
Nice,
cool.
nice.
Awesome.
And what about for Obakai?
Yep.
Let's see.
It could be a zone-related connection. I've spent a lot of time out in the zone, but
that's fair.
I mean, yeah, you just go crazy.
Yeah, I think I've got I don't know. I think it's going to be relatively positive. I think I know what an asset you are out there as far as in the field. I think I'm wondering if I'm maybe a little bit put off with the intensity of the mutation and just a little unsure about you. But like I think I would definitely trust. I think you're probably the kind of person that I might not be super buddy with, but when we're out there, I'd want you at my back, kind of deal.
Cool.
And that's great. And one of the things that Matthew has stressed is a lot of people have different mutations, different levels of those. He is among those people that has the most visible, really leans into it. You see him and you know that he is, that they are different. And I apologize.
Okay.
So that's a neat detail there.
Okay.
Let me come over to Electra. Electra, what do you think your relationship, your perspective might be on NEKO?
So I think, like, as I've been investigating things and she's kind of always poking around different places, I think I ran into her like a couple times. And at first I was like really suspicious of her and maybe like trailed her around for a bit before I realized she just like loves like tinkering and messing with things and probably is not involved with killing Ray John. So like we're still like maybe like a little bit tense, but like not really. That's kind of broken at this point because I kind of figured out that she's just not really involved in that.
Awesome. Awesome. And what about for our Obakai? Obakai does work for Victoria.
Right. So I've seen Obakai around quite a bit. And he's pretty noticeable. I respect Obakai as someone who's like capable and like gets the job done. I mean, someone who's like an alligator enforcer is clearly an asset. That said, Obakai has been kind of mysterious to me so far. I still don't know how, like, how to relate to Obakai because he's so different, or because they're so different.
Nice. I like that very much. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause here. We've got those characters. We're going to stop and we're going to talk about something called projects real quick. Get those on the table. This is one of the more interesting parts of the sort of the game tech for Mutant Year Zero. We're going to get that on the table, and then I'll roll us into what we're doing for the session. The way this works is there's a character sheet for the arc. You'll see in the Roll20. And your arc has development levels, and those are for food supply, culture, technology, and warfare. And essentially, the breakpoints for those are at 10. So 10, and then 20, 30, and then 40. Those are the levels. So right now they're at 10 on their food. They're at the sort of the second level of that, which means that food isn't as tight. People aren't starving to death all the time. That they found some outside resources to build that up. The culture and technology are both still primitive. So they kind of don't know how things work, and they don't know how to write. That sort of literacy and knowledge of tech is still fairly primitive. Warfare is on the second level. They have it at a 14. So they're actually doing pretty well on that. They've got some defenses built up for the arc. Now, the way this works is at the start of each session, the group of PCs talks about what projects they would like to work on. We actually have one project that is in progress right now, the Watchtower. And the way that it works is people say, I want to work on this project. And then they roll one of the skills that's associated with it, like Endure or Scout. Those are the two that are associated with Watchtower. And if we happen to get that one done, people who haven't had a chance to work, you guys can choose a different project to also be working on. What's going to happen when they put Watchtower in place is that's going to generate some dice towards their defenses. And that's what most projects do is you complete a project, we talk about it in the fiction, and then it actually raises the stats on that. I'm wondering, Matt, if you wouldn't mind starting us out on that.
Sure,
doing
yeah.
the day's work on the Watchtower.
Yep. And
that way you guys can see in Roll20 how the die roller works. He's going to be putting in
skills?
Endure or Scout.
Great.
He's going to be putting into the Roll20 die roller a particular formula, and you can see that in the handouts under dice syntax. Sherry's dropped it into the chat of the Google Hangouts as well. Essentially, the first X is how many skill dice you have. The second X is how many stat dice you have. That's ass backwards. I know, I'm telling you that now. You're going to get that mixed up. And the last die is for any gear dice that you might have. So he's going to roll, and you'll see how that looks in the roller. Let me scroll down all the way to the bottom. So Obakai, as you can see, he's rolled, and right now he has rolled 1 6, which means he's got 1 success. So 1 point will go towards the 4 points that are needed to complete that project. Now, he could push this roll. You see that shiny little blue button? If he presses that, he can roll all the dice that didn't show up as 6s again. But any 1s that he rolls on that are going to suck.
Here we go.
So he gets 1 success in the end. He manages to injure himself. How do you injure yourself working on the Watchtower?
I think maybe we're working with I think I end up falling from a great height. I think I maybe overexert myself trying to do my whole reptilian crawling around the side of the thing to work on stuff, but I'm a little overambitious and I slip and I fall.
Okay. And that's where that last one, the explosion there, you see, that's his gear breaking. So your spade breaks in the process there. So you have to buy a new one.
And I would like to compliment you, Matt, on your fine example roll that you did there. We had some of everything.
Thank you, Sherry. I set it up that way intentionally.
Yes. So the project is about halfway done. It still needs 2 more successes to be complete. Does somebody else have a decent score in Endure or Scout that would like to help out with that project?
I'm bad at both of those.
I've got good Scout. I've got good Scout I could use, so I'll do that.
Okay. All right. And let's have you do that, and then I'm going to tell Michael the awesome thing about the boss.
Okay, so one more time, it's skill, stat, gear?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't think I have, I guess I'm not sure how to figure out if I have any gear that applies to that. I don't think I do.
You can buy a shovel. And
okay.
The shovel is the gear die.
If you spend a bullet, you can buy a shovel, and that'll give you an extra dice for this.
I would do that. I'll get a shovel.
It's one of the few really effective things in this game.
Okay, so I just add that into the gear and decrease 1 dice? Is that the case?
No, you just add
1 bullet. 1 bullet, yeah.
Just take a bullet off and add a die to your gear on that roll.
All right, let's see. All right. Sorry, still just figuring this out.
No, it's all cool.
Skill, so I've got 2 in Scout. I've got, and that's Scout is wits. So I've got 4 wits.
Nice.
Wits, and then just 1 for gear now. Boom.
Okay. So right now, you've got 1 success towards that project.
Okay.
You see the little biohazard thing there?
Yes.
You're not going to take any damage right now because you haven't pushed. But if you push, you're going to take that damage.
Okay.
So you can choose to push or not push here.
I'm gonna hold off and save some
Okay.
pushes for later.
All right. So we have 3 points towards completion of the watchtower. Michael, here's the cool thing about being a boss. You don't have to do anything.
Nice.
What's your rank in your command skill?
In command skill, I've got a 2.
Okay, that means whenever you do projects, you've got 2 dice worth of dudes that or ladies or however it is that will do the work for you, and you can always roll that for any kind of project.
Okay, cool. And if that, I believe that's based on wits. So would I be rolling the wits attribute there?
Yep, it'd be wits.
Oh, nice.
Plus command. Plus, if you want to spend a bullet, you can get a die for having a shovel.
My guys are tough. We can do this with our hands.
Fair enough. We'll see how that works out. Right, just make sure for the gear die you put a 0 in then.
Okay. So first one is skill, right?
Yep.
We could have got a 4. All right, hopefully I've got this typed in right.
Oh, 2 successes. No problem. After poor Obakai has fallen off the watchtower, and we've got our new character Denko kind of helping out, and then you send some of your people in, and essentially they help finish the job there.
Yeah. How many people would you expect me to have in my gang? It's like a small gang.
Yeah. So I have the slightly modified rules for the boss. I put those actually in the handouts there, so you can kind of take a look at that. Essentially, we do it like that. You've got a couple people per number that you have in that thing. So you got a handful of people that work for you.
Cool.
The rules in the book make it very concrete. The original rules are more abstract, so I go with those.
Okay.
Okay, so the watchtower is complete. Can somebody roll me a die 6? And we'll see how much gets added to your warfare.
So notice that no one's leaping to roll these things. So okay,
I've been burned too many times.
So have I. Okay, I will take the blame for the bad roll for result here.
Okay.
5.
Yeah.
5. Nice. So your warfare goes from 14 to a 19. That's very nice. And here's the thing. Any KO? Do you want to do some gearhead building, or do you want to start another project?
Now, our boss can still help on that project as well, can't he?
No.
Okay, so it would just be me doing it. Well, I mean, I love me some projects. Do you got anything for me that would work off of Comprehend or Jury Rig?
I do.
Museum is Comprehend. Oh, sorry.
In fact, what I was going to say is you've just got enough to build a museum, and it is based on Comprehend.
Ooh, we could have a museum. And what would a museum do for us?
It gives a D6 to culture and a D6 to tech.
Huh. Sure. I mean, I think we should have like a museum of all the signs collected from throughout the ship. That sounds awesome to me. I would love to help on that. So that's Comprehend?
That's Comprehend. So you get all the sharp edge signs and all the signs that people have found out in the world, and all of the safety signs, and you put them together into a museum. That makes sense to me.
So many colors. Okay. So and that is 0. Oh, sorry about that. The cat has decided she has to editorialize. So I get 2 successes right off the bat.
That is 2. Are you good with that, or do you want to push it?
I think I'm good with it because I know how these dice go.
Okay.
So there's
so
2
you have
towards
made some progress. People are starting to gather. You've asked for them to bring the signs from all over the place. We're going to cut from there. And I'm going to start with you there, Electra. You have been going through some of Rajon's things, digging out some stuff. And one of the things that you have located is he actually had some maps of the zone that you hadn't seen. It looked like maybe he had gotten this from somebody or borrowed it, or it seemed kind of important. He had it tucked away. And it particular marked a couple of zones that the stalkers haven't been to. And I'm going to pull us over to the zone map. I've marked those 2 boxes in green on the map. And you kind of looked around and you realized that the stalker, gosh almighty, Denko, and he's certainly somebody that you could trust to help you out. But to do this, you're probably going to need some additional support. And you know that Victoria has been funding some expeditions out into the zone. She has helped people out, and she's got some know-how and some manpower.
Right. I know this is going to be interesting to her as well.
Yeah. So who would you go to first? Would you go to Denko first, or would you go to Victoria first?
I think I would go to Victoria first, because with Denko, we've got our mutual dislike of this guy, but it doesn't have to do with going out into the zone at all. I think if we had something going, he might be inclined to jump on board the train, but I think Victoria is going to be more interested in these maps and where they might lead.
Okay. And you will go down to speak with Victoria. Her area is just on the edge of that big gash there towards the lower end, but up on the top deck. She has a good-sized gang, just a little bit bigger than yours. And she is glad to see you. You know there's been a lot of tension with Orion and some of the other bosses of late.
Those assholes behind a lot of this.
Yeah.
She's got to be planning this stuff.
She's a little worried about what's going on with the Chroniclers. Who has access to the Elder? What's going on? She's not digging it. But how do you present this to her? How much are you telling her?
I think that the question is, do I bring the maps with me? I think that I've sketched out a basic version of the maps, kind of where they're going, but I've got them hidden away with my gang. Actually, I think I go to her with my gang at my back, but I do have the maps in a pack on me. And I'm going to be, I probably introduce it first. I'm asking her hey, I've got some knowledge of the zone that might be of interest to you. I've got some places marked out that are very important. These maps, they seem to predate our arc here, but I think they're pointing somewhere. And that's probably, if she's interested, that's when I'll actually pull the maps out.
Okay. And she is interested. She say, well, I'm glad you came to me with this. It just so happens that I have a couple people that have acquired some specialty gear for exploring the zone.
Perfect. I mean, these places, they're not that far off. We can get there.
Okay. Let me send for them. Unfortunately, the stalker that I know is out in the field right now.
I know somebody who can get the job done.
Okay. Let me call in Obakai and NEKO. And Victoria, of course, as a straight line to you there, Obakai. And NEKO, Victoria, was saying, sent you word, says, I have some booze. Perhaps you'd like to take a trip.
Takes booze to take a trip.
And eventually, I'm going to assume we're going to kind of hard frame, if you guys don't mind, the four of you together, plus Victoria. And Victoria turns to Obakai and NEKO and says, they've got some information on a site. You have access to some particular tools. Are you willing to talk with them about that?
Got any idea of what we're heading towards?
The map is very rough.
The map is rough. We know there's something out there that's going to be of interest to us. We don't know exactly what yet, but these maps were hidden away for a reason.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least someone went out there and came back alive, so it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. I kind of look at Obakai.
Most of the things out in the zone are of interest to me, so I'm in.
Too easy. Too easy.
If it means I get to ride in that thing again.
Okay. Shh. Okay. Yes. But I get first pick on one of the items we find.
Are you good with that, Electra?
Anything that has to do with Rage on, or that could lead me closer to whoever killed him, I'm gonna to need whatever that is.
Any KO?
So that means I can have it, or it means you want it? She goes.
I don't look. Whatever. If I find anything that's of interest, I probably won't need it for practical reasons. We'll see. What I'm interested is learning about what Rajon wanted from it and why somebody might kill him to get it. I just need access to it.
Oh, that's great. That's fine. I just want it. So that's something.
And what about you, Denko? Are you cool with this? I mean, we're putting a lot of pressure on you. We're calling you out of the cold. You're a stalker. I know you like to work with people that much.
I've been itching to get out of here for a while anyway. Okay. If there's something out there, I'll find it.
So what I can offer you to help back you up is I can give you turns to NEKO. I can give you 6 booze.
All right.
And for everybody else, I can offer you 2 grub and 2 water.
Thanks, boss.
Good. NEKO has a vehicle that actually runs. Look, it's just the 5 of us here, NEKO. You're gonna have to tell them sooner or later.
Yeah. I just want them to know they shouldn't say it to anyone else.
Okay. It's gonna require crossing over to the other side of the Muck River, but they've got the vehicle stashed there, and that should make it easier, cut your travel time down in terms of heading out into the zone. So I'm gonna let you guys go. NEKO, you get first dibs, and then we'll kind of do some round the clock divvying up after that. Does that seem fair? Okay.
That works.
And she will, as you guys are getting up, she will lean in to you, Obakai, and will say, keep an eye out for Silas if he's out there.
I don't know if we want to bring him back.
I don't. Just keep an eye out. He killed somebody before he left. Who knows what state he's in?
Mm.
And
I hope
keep an
I
eye
don't
out
have
and
to do the same for him.
Yeah, if you see any signs of this pink that people have talked about,
You'll be the first to know.
And essentially, the group of you can kind of load up, get your things together. How do you imagine your outfit there, Electra? What do you look like?
So she's wearing like pretty much like really hard like leathers, basically. I think she keeps herself mostly when she goes out into the zone. I mean, she's a little superstitious of it. So she's like mostly wrapped up. I think when she goes out, she's got like kind of a veil on as well. I mean, that's not like leather, but like her eyes are exposed, but not a whole lot else.
Okay. And one of the things is when you go out into the zone, you can take your gang with you if you want. It just costs some food and grub to keep them supplied while they're out there.
How much does it cost?
So essentially is one ration of grub and one ration of water per point. So it'd be 2 grub and 2 water essentially a day. Let me tell you how much water and grub go for right now. Right now, you can get 2 grub for a bullet. And water is 2 water for a bullet. So essentially it'll cost you 2 bullets a day to keep your gang, if you want to have them out in the field with you, in shape. You can opt to reduce that number and just like take 1 bonus point if you want.
That'd be 1 bonus point to command.
Yep. Essentially,
Okay.
what it'd be your command skill is what, 2?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna bring them. I'm gonna bring the whole crew out there.
Okay.
I'm the boss. I'm in here for 2 sessions. I'm gonna keep the gang with me.
Okay. So it'll cost you then 2 bullets a day, and we'll keep a track on that.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah.
If 2 grub is going for a bullet, would I be able to buy myself some salted zone rat to head out there? Can we just do a bit of shopping, or is that
Absolutely? Yeah, that's easy shop.
cool?
People know you. People are scared of you. They'll sell to you. They're not
Cool.
going to hold back. They heard about what you and Syntax did to the algae eaters, how you massacred them all, and took over and essentially destroyed that whole economy down there. So word has gotten out.
All right.
Oh,
So let me get the map pulled up. You have to go across the walkway, which is a set of sort of rickety pieces of metal and bridges and things like that. What's a significant feature of that walkway that you guys have built there, NEKO?
well, essentially, because the walkway is stretched over a sort of deep channel, there's those big underwater creatures that you never see, but they're always kind of churning around, and if you fall in, they like eat you right away. So those are always there. So one of the things that's all along the walkway are like these jugs with another jug inside of it, and one of them has water, and then there's some big metal clumps in there. You can throw those out, and they're kind of like water noise makers that will draw those things away from the bridge so you don't get knocked off of it. But then if you're a good citizen, you catch them when you find them later downstream. So
That makes sense to me.
Features.
All right. So you can get across. And then Obakai, what does this vehicle look like again? How do you remember it?
I remember it sort of being like a Jeep, but a little bit more of a buggy. So it's got like kind of wide tires, and it's got kind of like partially open, seating area, and it's a little scratched up. Especially we're doing some fighting around it, but also it had some Helldriver stuff on it. Is that correct?
Yes, there are some markers when. Denko, Electra, when you come up on this vehicle that they've got actually hidden away, but they put in the booze and they actually can start it up. It's got a lot of signs and decorations and marks on it that you don't recognize. That look like clearly this belonged to some group.
A group of jerks.
Group of jerks. And it also has a mount for a rifle, right?
Yes.
Sure, I'll put my rifle on it.
Okay. So we have that green box that you can go to. You guys can move diagonally on the map. If a box is yellow, that means it's been explored by the group already. And if you just want to pass through that, it's easy enough to move through without too much interruption. So it essentially, especially in a car, it'll just take you like an hour to get through it, if that. So I assume that the four of you load up into this vehicle, and how do you want to proceed? If you notice on the map, if you want to give coordinates, you'll see that the rows and columns have letters and numbers at the tops and sides. So if you need to mark out where something is, you can also click with the left mouse button on the map. If you've done this correctly and haven't actually goofed it up, with the little select move thing, and then it'll ping an area with a little expanding circle. So what's the plan?
I think we put it to the stalker.
Do you want to try new territory, or should we go the traveled way as far as we can and then hit new territory?
I think we got to be focused on our goal, right? So I think it's going to be traveled. I think it's less about exploring other than our goal right now. So I think the safest route until we need to branch off of that, I think makes the most sense.
Okay, so probably up past the Beast Tracks zone, past the big. It essentially was urban ruins, and there's this giant machine sort of in the center of one of these courtyards. They've hunted around this area. They haven't found any particular threats, and then break up sort of diagonally and northward from there, maybe heading into H10. It looks like to me.
I think that makes sense. You guys think so?
I agree.
Okay, let me draw a shape.
Seemed like a pretty smart guy, Dinko.
He's one of the best.
Okay. So Denko, lead them into this new zone. And the way this works, you've got the thing that you have a choice of whether you want to be hunting for threats first or artifacts first.
Right.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be threats first until we get closer to where we're going. So I think I think that's going to be my focus at the moment.
Okay. So go ahead and let's have you roll find the path.
All right. Let's see. Find the path. That is. Trying to figure out how this works. Actually, I'm sorry. How do I roll the, like? I'm trying to find how that's. I guess I don't know what skill I'm rolling on this.
So
is that
find
know
the path? Sorry, that's well, you have a skill called. Your special skill is.
Yeah, it is fine.
Is find
It
the
is find the
path.
path. I just don't see where that. Oh, is that a skill I was supposed to
You write it in.
down at the. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get that. Okay.
Yeah. So set it as you wish, and it's based on agility.
Okay.
Do you want to shuffle some points around if you hadn't?
Exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm changing my know the zone to find the path.
Okay.
All right. All right. So that is 3 for the skill, 5 for agility, and then if I don't have any gear, do I just put a 0 in there for that one?
Yep.
Or what is that? Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Rolling it. Okay. Looks like 1 success.
1 success, and that's all you need there.
Okay.
So this zone here that we're moving into is kind of start riding through, and the group probably has to kind of slow down the vehicle. People probably can walk alongside it. It's woods, like old gray ashen woods, dead, sort of burnt out trees. There's some new growth here, but even it is kind of gray and blackened as you move through it. And you will see evidence that there have been some people here. Like people have passed through here not too long ago, but you don't detect any sort of active threat in the area as you move through. At most, it's mostly that the trees do shake when you drive this car past. Maybe about halfway through, for a little while, you pick up a few scavenger beasts. Then they don't come close. They just hang back like a pack. They can smell, because there's a bunch of you, so they smell the sweat and all of that, and they kind of follow behind, like they're expecting that you'll start killing things, or somebody will kill you, or something will happen to you, and then they can feast on your bones. But it's pretty easy to move through this zone. You have a vehicle, and so it takes about 2 hours for you to kind of mark out a path and move. Do you imagine that you're on the vehicle, or are you moving ahead of it? How do you imagine that?
You talking to me on this?
Yeah.
I think I'm moving ahead of it. I trust my own 2 feet more than I do a vehicle. I mean, that was useful for covering ground, but if I'm actually, like kind of tracking here and trying to do that, I'm on my own 2 feet. My head is kind of on a swivel. You see that my, I'm kind of sniffing at the air as we kind of go by as we're going. That's
okay. Yeah, you've got that wonderful tracking scent. Electra, tell me about 1 or 2 of these people that you have with you, the gang members that you brought.
Yeah, sure. So I think Tendon's a real wiry guy, but really, really agile and like surprisingly strong for someone who's so lean. Another one would be Ruxy, probably kind of my second in command, the person I'm most likely to confide in. And then third, Gaffel, the only one, probably the one that I trust least, not in the sense of like trust them to be on my side, but trust the least to get shit done.
Okay.
The way I want it done.
And what is Gaffel's attitude during this whole, you've headed out, you're in the zone, you've been out here maybe half a day, you're going through this new place. Is he taking it seriously? Is he complaining? What is his reaction?
So he's out here with us in the zone, but he's not in the zone, so to speak. He's kind of goofing off. He's throwing like a couple scraps back at these scavengers that are following behind us. And I shoot him a look. I don't want to order him to cut it out because I know that he won't. But he's not taking this all that seriously.
Yeah, there's a bunch of you. He's got that attitude of safety in numbers. He hasn't quite realized the precarious position that you all might be in.
Right.
Obakai, this is some new territory for you. It's been a while since you've been in the zone. What do we see of you?
I think I'm mostly near the back. Maybe I'm kind of like close to the gun if I happen to need to jump on it or something. But I'm more looking sadly back at the scavengers, at kind of like wistfully, as if like, you know, if only they weren't like this, maybe it would be easier to connect with them. But it's just like, man, this is just sad.
Yeah, these are animals. They're not like you guys have zone dogs. The dog handlers have this, but these aren't those. These are even sort of other animals that essentially just live on the dead and the carcasses and all of that.
Right.
The opportunists, the hyenas, yes, giant zone possums.
Perfect.
Yeah. So they are even more hideous than a possum. However, they do take care of the tick population. But anyway, so what about you, Nikko? What's your attitude? You're driving, right?
This is awesome. Oh, wait. I mean, yes, I'm driving. That's my responsibility. So anyway, the thing that I really don't like about driving is I can't see myself driving from outside because I probably look really cool when I'm driving.
Oh, you look so cool.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, and you are rolling along there, and it's kind of getting adjusted. So this is the 2 hours. You're kind of glad the terrain is a little bit easier here for you, because you don't have to do anything tricky yet.
Right. I think what I'm trying to do is get a feel for like the sound of the engine, because like with this booze, it's different feel than it had before. So how is it transitioning? Essentially, how am I getting like a good feel from the engine or something weird? What's the handling like? It's that kind of just testing it out a little bit so that if something goes wrong, I at least can tell if things are going wronger as we go.
That sounds smart. And after a few hours, you guys will roll into the next zone. And that will be the one above it, since you kind of have to bank around that water there. Can't cut across it. So let me grab the shape there. Once again, this is where the stalker comes into their own. Let's have you roll your find the path skill.
Alrighty. Let's see. I lost the syntax. Just need to copy that over real quick. Here we are. Oof.
All right. So you have a choice now.
Yeah.
You could push it and re-roll. If you do, you're definitely going to take 2 damage.
Ooh, I already take those.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't take it now unless
Right.
you re-roll.
If I re-roll, what does that damage go towards again? Like where is that on the?
That's going to reduce your agility.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And you have to stop and drink water, isn't it? So
and spend some hours recovering.
yeah.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Geez.
You know,
What
we'll
if I
deal.
fail this roll? What if I fail this roll? We're gonna end up in some stuff. Well, let's just see what happens with pushing. I'm doing it.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
All right.
I take my job seriously when I'm leading these groups out, so I push myself if I have to.
He's one of the best. Oh.
So
I got no successes, but I didn't get any more damage than the 2. Right.
The terrain here gets weird. It's sort of hilly, and has these mounds. You realize very quickly that they're not mounds of earth or anything like that, but they're mountains of garbage that you are moving through. And that requires you, Denko, to kind of climb up on these things to get some perch, to get some position, and sort of stop to catch your breath and so on. So that's exhausting. That wears you out. That's the 2 agility loss there, and you're just ahead of the car. It's coming along. It's trying to kind of keep up with you. The others are there, and as you are coming down, you find what looks like a decent path down one of these garbage sides, and you hit this tripwire, and you go down sort of face first onto that, and you'll realize that whatever this wire is has actually wrapped around your foot, and you're being pulled. And it's like you can see that there's maybe a covered, hollowed out spot in the garbage pile, like almost a garbage cave, and you're being pulled into that like an animal. What do you do?
Geez, I think I'm quickly doing everything I can to dislodge the wire. So I'm kind of like, reaching down either with, if I have I guess I don't have any other gear other than my shovel and my bow and arrow.
Okay.
I mean, I could try and kick off that shoe if it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a move roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Try and get yourself dislodged.
Okay. Jeez. Let's see. Move. Yuck. Oh man, this is gonna be bad.
And you don't like being loud, do you? So you're probably not screaming for help.
No, not yet. That's for sure.
Swallow your pride. Cry for help.
Nope. Not yet. All right.
What is it that you do that you can pull this wire off?
Okay. So I imagine it's like actually instead of I don't have to lose my boot. I think I'm able to, if this makes sense, I'm able to kind of like do almost like a really quick sit up and like kind of grab onto it. So like my feet are actually behind me and everything. I'm able to then, like, as I'm holding onto the wire face first as I'm being pulled, I'm using my other foot to dislodge it now that I'm able to get myself some slack on it. And then I'm able to just kind of roll off to the side once I've got it free.
And the car where you guys are at, you kind of come around the corner and you will see Denko rolling down this hill. And you can see that there's this sort of garbage cave, and there are some figures in there, and it looks like they have some bows. And let's take our break. We'll take a 5-minute break right now. Okay, and we'll come back. There we go. Yeah, you will find as a stalker that there's a certain kind of roll till you die when you're in the zone that a lot of it rests on you there.
Works for me. That's kind of fun, actually. I dig that.
I think, kind of quick question.
Sure.
Now that I know that bullets are currency, can I switch my character to be a melee character?
Absolutely, if you sure, absolutely. Yeah, feel free to switch that out and choose a different weapon.
I'm spending my bullets on food and water for my guys.
Yeah.
Did we cover PC buddy stuff for the experience trigger? Do we?
No, I figure we'll actually because they're relatively new. We'll figure that out at the end.
Yeah, I like that. And my buddy's not here too, so I'm gonna have to figure out who becomes my new one.
That's true. We'll get all that worked out. Sherry, are you back yet? She's not. Oh, there she is. Okay.
I was. I'm sorry. I thought you called because you see me nodding along.
Yeah, I could, but I was
talking,
looking down.
So yeah, right.
Because I'm a dope. So, right now, Denko has rolled down this hill. You're driving NAKO, so your possible actions are fairly limited. But do you want to try to drive up the hill? Do you want to stop the car? Do you want to accelerate away and leave Denko behind? Or something else?
I have learned a very important lesson in my life, and that is ranged damage will kill you in this game. So I actually will pull the car up to act as cover for those of us who are out here, because there are bows and arrows in play, and so Denko could get behind it for cover.
Okay, I'm going to say that isn't going to require a roll. Okay. You'll be able to slide that into place. Obakai, you're the enforcer. What do you want to do?
Well, if they've got bows and we're kind of setting up cover here, like if the car is going to be an obvious like focus, and also the stalker that they almost just grabbed, I think I would like to activate a mutation point and try and blend into the background and try and sneak up close to the base. Awesome.
So you spend that mutation point and you go full predator. Yep. Just roll me 1d6.
Sure thing.
To see if your mutation malfunctions.
4.
You're fine. So right now you've done that, and you can absolutely stalk up without a problem. And so you'll be able to get up there. Let's talk with Electra. You're on the vehicle. You've got your gang with you. Up on this sort of garbage hill, there's a little cave thing. It's people with bows. Cars pulled in front to block your stalker from sight. What do you want to do?
I think that if they're going out of a cave, I'm gonna see if I can kind of get around to the other side of that, like of the hill that they're on, so that hopefully they won't be able to shoot me from that angle.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a problem. I will say, do you want to take your gang with you and essentially move off to get cover away from the vehicle?
I think so. Yeah, we'll kind of try to take them from another side if we can.
Okay. I will say then you'll probably have to spend this round maneuvering yourself to get out of their line of sight and get yourselves into position there. So they are going to take a shot here at the group. Let me grab the syntax here. It's a post-apocalyptic game where the GM rolls. Crazy. So, okay. So I think right now we have exposed potentially one shot on NEKO and potentially one shot on the stalker. Essentially is what's happening right now. So that's a miss. Okay. So Jesse, you get cover from the vehicle. So what I need you to do is I need you to roll me 4d6.
Okay.
Any sixes will reduce their success.
Nope. No sixes.
Okay. So you are going to take 2 points of damage. That's on your strength.
Ouch.
Unless you have a mutation or anything that you can spend that can assist, or
No, I don't really.
okay.
And I only have 2 strength, so is that
Okay. So you will drop, but you're not going to take a critical hit unless something else hits you, in which case I'm going to roll on the critical hit table. So any KO, you will see that Denko kind of gets up to try and get behind the cover, and he takes an arrow. Where does it hit you, Denko?
let's see. I think it's like my thigh, like right thigh. So I'm trying to move, and all of a sudden I get hit, and I kind of spin to the ground, and I'm like hobbling to try and get back under cover.
Okay. Anikea, what do you want to do?
I want to grab him and pull him behind the car so that he's got more cover. Essentially, I want to, how should we say, take control of the cover situation for him.
Okay. So you two want to get like completely out of any kind of line of vision of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
That seems fair. Can absolutely get behind there. Obakai, you can see you kind of moved up near the entrance to this cave. They fired some shots down. You can see that Electra is moving her gang around the other side, kind of coming up a little more carefully. But you're invisible. What do you want to do?
I think I want to sort of time it so that Electra and her gang are fairly close, so that if I run in, they can kind of capitalize on the confusion and then, you know, get close without getting shot.
Okay.
So I don't know what exactly. I think as soon as I can, I'm going to start just causing chaos. How many figures can I see inside approximately?
Well, I probably saw that two bows were fired, but you saw there were at least 3 figures.
Okay.
So if you want, you can pop in and you can attack.
Yeah, I think I'll pop in, and I want to see if there's someone with a melee weapon that I could, like, if they'd be more of a threat to my immediate person, and then the bows would be easier to deal with afterwards.
Sure. I'll say that you can spot that. You will also spot that these are kind of a tight, narrow tunnel here, pretty tight. So you're not going to be able to swing your axe in here.
Oh, okay. So it would just be hands. Give them the hands.
Unless you have another weapon as well.
Yeah, no, I just have the scrap axe, so that's fine. I can go in and scrap on my own.
Okay. Then let's have you do that fight roll.
All right. That's rough. I think I want to hit.
It's entirely up to you.
So how much damage would I be dealing? Like my scrap axe is weapon damage 3. Do you know how much just unarmed combat does?
Let me take a look at the thing. I believe it's just 1 for unarmed.
Okay, well, that's not very much. Yeah. Well, I suppose I'm going to be taking some damage on their turns anyways, so I'd like to try and get a head off.
Sure.
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Oh, that's rough. All right.
So what happens is you get on in there, and you will see that there are 3 zone ghouls. You recognize their pallid complexion. They don't like the sunlight. And you kind of push past, and this tunnel is kind of slippery and unstable. And as you kind of come in and appear, the last one kind of catches you with this horrible, rusty, jagged knife and brings it across your side. And that's where you take the 2 damage from.
All right.
Okay. What do you want to do my fine boss friend Electra. You'll see the flash as the camouflage vanishes as Obakai leaps into the tunnel.
Right. I guess my first question is, how big is this garbage pile? If we were to somehow collapse it, would it hurt or just immobilize the people inside now that
the garbage pile is probably about 80, 90 feet tall.
Okay, that would probably hurt then. If we got it to collapse.
If you got it to collapse, you don't. It's pretty
sturdy.
Unless you had something cool to do it with. I mean, you've got some powers and things.
Right. I mean, I do have the. That's a good point. How do you get these mutation points back?
Well, actually, here's one of the nice things. When you push your rolls and you take damage, like Obakai just did,
and Jesse,
I just remember this. You get a mutation point for every point of damage that you take on yourself.
Okay, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, that's 4 points, cool. Jesse. 4 points.
And that is a maximum of 10.
I think in that case, if it's if they're something you can regen easily enough, I think I will try to push that magnet power, which in a giant garbage pile should have plenty of ammo here.
Okay. So let's look at the power, the human magnet. So you could certainly.
I think I'm going to climb up on the side and try to push the metal objects in onto them, hopefully from an angle that gives Obadiah a little room to move and get out of there in time.
How many MP do you want to spend? For each MP that you spend, you will neutralize one of these 3 characters.
Okay. I think that I'm going to spend 2 for now and hopefully get it back later. I mean, I'm not going to find much better opportunity than a garbage pile.
Absolutely. And what the mutation points, they just work, but you do have to make sure that nothing goes wrong. So I need you to roll me 2d6.
All right. I can do that just by typing /roll 2d6 in the chat on Roll20.
Yes, I sneezed off camera.
And that's 2 4s.
You're perfectly fine. Look at that. It's like the dice love you and they didn't cause any kind of freak out. So describe to me what that looks like when your magnetism, pins 2 of these people.
Yeah. So kind of like I'm climbing up on the side of this like garbage mountain, like right by right around the edge of their little cave. And I'll put my fingers like to the side of it and kind of dig into the trash a little bit. And on the inside, it's almost like an explosion of like kinetic force as like, several chunks of this garbage, like, the door of a car, like pieces of like wire and other stuff will, pin these 2 against the other wall of the cave. I think that there's some crap that flies on Obadiah and the third one as well.
But the shrapnel.
It's the 2 that are pinned, and the shrapnel probably isn't like that serious. It's just for effect.
Yeah, and these 2 are pinned and screeching as they're held in place. Right now, Jesse, you're out. We'll come back to you once the fight's over and they do some healing on you. Enikio, you want to do anything else?
Yeah, sure. We're in a safe spot now.
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to heal Dinko.
Okay.
So use my awesome parasite skills to do this. Okay. So I can take onto myself some of his points 1-to-1. So I'll take 1 of his points. That means I spring essentially a matching wound, but at least he's back up, and then he can eat and get better. So
roll me a d6.
I know. Yay!
Everybody's rolling 4s, so you're fine. So what does that look like when you do that? What does Denko see?
Denko kind of would kind of come back awake, and he's feeling a little bit better. I didn't heal him all the way, but essentially I have a matching wound on my leg, exactly the same kind. And his wound is not as bad as he remembered it before it went out.
Okay. Back to Obakai. Have you seen Electra's powers before?
I don't think so. I imagine that like someone who's a boss would probably keep it on the down low unless they like really need to use it. Michael, I don't know if you want to fill that in, but I think it's new to Obakai.
Okay. So you can do something now. You've got just one guy left free.
And I'm pretty mad at this point. I think that rusty little dagger, that thing hurt. So I am going to I have the talent Combat Veteran, which doesn't really mechanically help here, but it says you keep your cool under fire and act effectively when your enemy hesitates. So I think that I'm more quickly able to recover from kind of the shrapnel and stuff. And while this ghoul is kind of screeching and batting away the stuff that's flying at it, I just want to like take it around the middle and just tear into its like abdomen, basically.
Nice.
All right.
Go ahead and make that fight roll. You're a little reduced on strength, but you're still pretty nasty.
ASD. Right. 2 damage. Okay. 2 successes.
Oh yeah. It is no problem for you to take this guy down. He's not particularly strong. Zone ghouls are more sort of jackal attackers of opportunity, and so as you described it, you will drop him. Boom. And got him down. I assume if you'll let them, Electra, your gang members will rush up and finish these other 2 off.
Yeah.
Okay. And they'll come charging in. Tendon and Rexy, fast and furious in there. Gaffle, maybe watching the back, keeping an eye on things. But they will come up and take them out and check on you, Obakai.
Yeah, I turn to them. My like metal jaw is like dripping blood a little bit, and I'm just like kind of coming down from the. Yeah, I'm like, sorry, just get a little caught up in things.
Okay.
Nice work.
Okay. And they'll signal to you, Electra. It looks like it's all clear.
All right, I'll just nod.
Gaffle goes, I'll tell them at the car, and runs down to where the car's at.
Yeah, I nod back when they give the all clear, and I'll poke around in there as well. I mean, do they have anything other than trash and bows and arrows in here?
Well, you and Obakai can get these cleared and actually walk back sort of into the trash pile, and they've actually excavated a decent sized cave there, and you can start picking through the stuff. And you will find a couple of things. There is a set of hockey pads. Those are nice because they're armor 6 against melee attacks, which means you get to roll 6 dice to resist. They are no good against ranged attacks.
Those are interesting.
And then there's an air mattress.
Oh, man.
Very handy.
The air mattress is super comfy after it is inflated. And rather than taking 8 hours to recover your wits, you can rest on it for 1 hour and recover your wits.
That thing is the bomb.
Very powerful naps.
Yes. There's probably some other things in here. I assume there's like an old frying pan and a big framed picture of a cat. that looks amusing. It's kind of smiling. It's got a little jaunty hat on it. You're like, okay, not sure why that cat's wearing a hat. And you can see the other thing that seems to occupy a position of honor in this little cave is this hair. And it'll take you a bit to realize that the hair is not real hair, but it's this luscious redhead wig.
Oh, beautiful.
Go ahead, put it on.
You think it would look good?
That's
Okay.
worth a shot, yeah.
Okay. I'll try it. I put it on and I kind of turn. I'm like, yeah. How does it?
It's a whole new look. Yeah. Very frightening.
All right.
Rexy goes, yeah, that is a whole new look. You are absolutely correct. That is what's going on there.
And hey, if I put on those hockey pads, I'll be extra terrifying, right?
Yeah, nothing will be able to fuck with you then.
Yeah. Now, you guys have a choice at this point. It's sort of mid-afternoon. You could stop and camp here. You've got a safe, secure location with this cave. And then you could spend grub and stuff to heal up. Would you like to do that?
Only 3 seems like a small number for a group out here. There might be more.
So it makes sense to get ourselves in full health.
A couple of you look banged up. I'm all in favor of pushing ahead, but if we need to stop, we need to stop.
I think Denko argues moving ahead more out of like bluster and ego than out of like actual logic or anything like that. He obviously is banged up and needs it, but
I would seize upon that though. I'm like, look, he says he's fine. I think we can keep moving.
Denko.
And any KO is like, nope, we got to try that mattress. Sorry.
I mean, 1 hour on that mattress should do you some good.
Just think what 3 hours would do.
3 hours? We got to take turns for that.
So, just for general food and water, everybody will mark off a ration of water and a ration of grub. And then if you're healing strength damage, for each point of strength damage you're healing, that costs a grub. If you're healing agility damage, each point of that takes a water. And if you're healing wits damage, that takes sleep.
And to feed my people, I need to spend 2 extra, both water and grub.
Yeah. So essentially, you could do that, mark it off there, or mark off 2 bullets to represent that you paid for that.
Okay, I'll pay it off through grub and water for now.
Okay. So you guys can settle in here for the evening. You can move the car into a decent position, closer up near the entrance of this. Kind of take some watches. Maybe a couple of times during the night, you might hear some noises and maybe see that there are other ghouls that have moved around on the piles, but they don't pay you any heed. Like they know that something bad is here, something dangerous. They can tell, and so they stay well clear of you. If you've thrown the zone ghoul bodies out, those animals that have been following you will drag them away in the night and clean them up for you. And so everybody can get restored and repaired.
cool.
Hey, Lowell, did any of those bows survive the whole ordeal?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, you could have a couple of scrap bows.
Any of their arrows?
Yeah.
How many can I grab of arrows on that? I've only got 5 with my bow.
Oh, let's say that probably each of them had about 4 arrows, so probably another 8 total.
you mind if I take like 3 of those just to have a few ready to shoot?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
There's
So
a
I guess
scrap
I'll take
knife
another
there as
5.
well, if somebody wants the scrap knife.
I'll take the knife if nobody else wants it.
Feel free. Yeah.
What do you normally fight with, Electra?
I've got a spiked bat.
Nice.
Ooh. Got some swing on that.
I think during the night, if there's a shift when any KO has a shift on watch, I think I would take a moment to go walk up right beside any KO. I don't think I would look them in the eye. I think I'd just be looking out, kind of standing shoulder to shoulder for a minute, and I think it would just be a really quiet thanks, and then I'd turn back and go in.
Any okay, I was like, oh, he's pretty smart.
In the morning, here's the other thing. Now, all of you have to mark a point of temporary rot. If you have on your equipment list a rot suit that protects you from that, you can roll for the protection value, and any 6s will prevent that. So otherwise you just mark a point of temporary rot. Obakai actually, for the first time in his life, doesn't take rot.
Yeah, it's kind of a flavor fail. I should just ditch the suit and embrace the rot.
There we go. You finally put on shoes, is what it is. So,
does that one take down my value?
No. All right. I'm not going to worry, or at least I'm not going to worry about it right now. So in the morning, you can get up. Everybody feels a little more refreshed, sleeping here in a garbage cave. And you can get yourselves set to move on. Do you want to head diagonally sort of southeast, or do you want to head directly east?
I think we'd go shortest route. I think that diagonal makes the most sense
Okay.
if we're just trying to get to our goal here.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That works.
Besides, the coast is beautiful this time of year.
Or something.
The stink is on.
Can I have you recovered, refreshed, and roll your find the path?
Let's do it. There we go.
1 success. So you will be able to move yourself into this next area, and we've kind of rolled out from that sort of garbage plain into a zone where there are more freestanding buildings, like along the coast. They're different from the area around the Ark. That's very much those sort of cargo containers and that field of those. This actually seems like more larger scale buildings. Maybe they were industries. You're not sure. Things are overgrown here, and you will find some signs of zone wasps, like the shed carcasses and wing bits and things like that. And maybe hear the buzzing in the distance. What is it that you do, Denko, to avoid zone wasp nests?
Are we like, you're talking about avoiding the physical location or just avoiding attracting attention?
Yeah, you tell me. you rolled a 1, so you were able to successfully spot the threat
Sure.
and avoid it.
Yeah. I think that everybody's going to be a little annoyed about this, but I think we're right on the coast here. So I mean, I'm just using my nose to kind of pick out what I see that they're interested in, and they don't seem to be interested in the water. So I think we kind of end up like getting some of that water and maybe putting it on our clothes, and it just kind of the smell. I go in through and I'm just like smelling each individual person as we're doing this and making sure their odor is masked enough that that we're not going to attract their attention as we're going through this area.
Absolutely, and you kind of stay away from areas that look like old nests might be built up in, and
Right.
you can see in the distance some buildings where you see those sort of the gray papery slats filling doorways and stuff, and you steer clear because the zone wasps are like that big, okay, like hand sized. And so you carefully move along using that odor tracking to stay clear of them. And you'll move on to the next zone. So again, that's a fast travel for you because you've got the car, so it only takes a couple of hours. So we're still mid-morning by the time that this comes around. So we'll have you make another Know the Zone roll.
You want a Know the Zone roll or
Find the
path? Find the path. Okay. Okay. Just making sure.
That's
all right.
my
Ooh,
game.
and this time, oh my.
Oh yeah, they're crunchy.
Yeah,
this is our old ones.
Well, this is our goal area, right?
This is your goal area, yes.
Okay. So my talent Scavenger lets me get a +2 mod to find a path, and with successes finding artifacts in the sector, but to ID threats, I have to get stunts.
Perfect.
I think I'm going for it since we're here for specific reasons. So where do I add that extra 2 to the skill itself?
To the skill.
Okay, so 5 there, 5 there, and 0 there. All right. Yes, okay.
What'd you get?
Looks like 2 successes.
Excellent. So I'm going to drop something in here. This map set. So you will be able to spend one of those successes if you'd like to find an artifact.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one to find essentially safely over to sort of the key area here. Does that sound cool?
That sounds perfect.
Okay. Drop that in there. So I've got my artifact deck. Let me see what random artifact you find. I have taken the air mattress out of the pile here and some of the other ones that have been chosen previously. This in here. So you are looking around and you can see that there's a center point to this area. Like there's a lot of clear zone and there's this big freestanding building with literally this sphere on the top of it. And it's kind of broken open. You kind of move around this. And at one point in one of the sort of the buildings a little further out, you will find what looks like a fancy rifle. It is, in fact, a sawed-off shotgun. And that gives +3 gear dice to shoot. It does damage 3, but only at short range. And it can be fired twice before you need to reload it.
Does it only take 1 bullet to reload it?
Takes 2 bullets to reload it. Oh, I guess you could reload it with 1 bullet to only shoot once.
What do you think, Electra, or who's? I guess it's close. Is it so? It's close range. I guess you got to get in there.
Close range with shoot.
I guess if nobody wants it, we can always turn it into the vault. But if anyone fancies themselves a shotgunner,
in the meantime, I can use it if Denko can't. I don't know. It's a loud weapon.
Yeah, and plus I'm not really a fan of getting in close if I don't have to.
Just sneak in.
Low
take 'em
strength,
out.
low strength. So yeah, I think that's
Great.
fine if you want to use that. Yeah,
Got this incredible weapon.
go for it.
All right. So you will realize in your sort of moving around the area that this sphere building, there's definitely signs that the area's been cleared around. You will it looks like maybe it's occupied. You will see there are oddly built like fetishes, almost scarecrows outside, like kind of warning signs a ways away from the building. And even as it sort of starts to rain a little here, you're starting to get some of that light rain that you get in the zone. You're kind of following the path. You will also realize the other sort of threat that you will spot is you see those 4 sort of pillars back on the map there. The sort of to the top. You will find a group of tracks heading that way, and you think that they're maybe a group of people that aren't part of the sphere people that are out there. You're not sure what their deal is. They might be zone ghouls, they might be escapees, they might be raiders. You're not sure.
Do we see any tire tracks?
Don't see any tire tracks. I think that's
These
fair
Aren't
question.
the hill drivers? Okay.
Aren't the hell drivers? No.
Yeah.
So what does the group want to do?
I'm tempted to kind of sneak in closer to that group over by the pillars just to see what I can notice and see what's like, get a better read on the situation. I don't know if anybody else has any other good ideas.
There's got to be something in that dome. We can check out the pillars first.
Oh, yeah, I'm just concerned about the things that are out here that could, if we go in there and then all of a sudden something coming in from behind us, that could be bad. Any other thoughts?
I can stick with you if it makes you feel safer.
I'll be ready with the
nod.
getaway vehicle.
If there are people here, we should at least lay eyes on them and know if they could be friends or if they are not worth our time.
Gaffel agrees on the whole getaway thing. You see him climb into the back of the vehicle. Have to secure it, keep it safe. So I heard that the stalker was going to try and sneak up on this group by the pillars.
Yeah, would that be scout or sneak, or what do you think?
Sneak.
Sneak. Okay. Got one there. Let me see what my tracker thing, if it lets me do anything on this though.
Oh, that's right.
Sense of smell is extremely well developed. I can follow a trail or person or a monster like a bloodhound. That doesn't seem to be it. I can sense an enemy sneaking up on us. No, it doesn't look like anything really applies there. Okay, so just rolling.
It all applies. One or the other.
Yeah. I just don't know how. Yeah.
Obakai, are you camouflaging and going, or how are you doing this?
I mean, I could do that, but if I'd like to see the stalker, do his thing too.
Okay.
But I suppose I could just camouflage and go in.
Let's see how the stalker does first.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here.
Besides, he'll notice if they're sneaking up on them, and then I can sneak up on them.
So bait is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm not the best stalker in the world here.
He's one of the best.
You may not have already realized this, but this game can be super harsh.
Yeah, I'm pushing myself. I'm doing it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Ish.
Yes. So, what is it that stresses you out in getting up to this? What pops up that freaks you out a little?
I think it might be mostly like residual feelings of inadequacy from the last time in that tripwire. I think I am just like I am being so cautious and careful, and I'm second guessing myself, if anything, as we're going here. So, yeah, I mean, like I'm sneaking up, going slower than I normally would. You can see like sweat beading off my forehead as I'm doing this, and it's just, yeah, I think it's intense.
So you will move up, and you will see there are a group of people that sort of scavenged clothes. They've got some equipment, basic scrap kind of equipment, a few guns, knives, things like that. There are about 7 of them. Don't see any visible signs of mutations. They are watching the dome. And you see one guy who looks like he's the leader. He's got this sort of knit gray cap on that's sort of now wet from the rain. He's got this weirdly scraggly mustache that is at an odd angle, and this like pipe that he's chewing on. And he's got these things up to his face, and he seems to be watching the dome. And these look like guys that are planning an assault. They look to you like raiders. They're very clearly, as you kind of move around, kind of they're chatting about, should we wait for nightfall? Yeah, I think we're going to wait till nightfall. Yeah. Let's wait for nightfall. Sounds good. That sort of his conversation is going on. And they don't see you. You're like a ghost. And so you can sneak up, gauge that, and then sneak back to the group with no problem.
Yeah, I'm going to head right back and report that all to everybody. Just especially the fact that if we had tried to go into the dome, that they would have been the first ones to see us, and who knows what that would have been. So I'm feeling good about that decision, at least. Yeah, just I think I put it to the group at that point. It's like, what do we do?
Well, so if we know where they're watching from, we can try to approach the dome from the other side and tell them they're going to get jumped, which might give us a chance to start out friendly with them.
And we know that if the Raiders are interested, there must be something worth their time in the dome there. So I like your plan, NEKO.
That's because I'm smart.
The only
That's why we
thing
keep
is,
your ass.
we come in there out of the blue. I mean, they might think that we're with the Raiders as well. I mean, how convenient if we say, "Oh, you can trust us. There's some Raiders out there." I mean, we'll see if we can get them on our side, but there's no guarantees.
Let's send in Gaffel. He's trustworthy.
Hey. So cold.
What we need is a good talking person. Do we have any good talking people? I'm not a good talking person.
I have learned that this is not my strength.
I'll see what I can do.
See?
Can
we scout them out then?
Sure. Actually, if you guys want, if you can, and you can put yourself the building between you and those raiders, and scout the building.
Also, because I know that Jenko's good with architecture and stuff, so he'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, somebody can roll scout, and you can get an extra die, an extra skill die from other people assisting you.
Or I could sneak in and try to surprise them with conversation.
Hey, what's up, man?
Everyone loves that. I have scout and all of those things, so if I can assist you, I will do that. So
I have scout as well, so you can throw in another die.
Cool. Okay. So then, yeah, I could definitely do some scout here. So if I'm getting how many extra dice?
Just one. Helpers can only get one extra die.
Okay, so I get one extra, and that's scout. So I'm up to
that's an extra skill die.
That's an extra skill die. Okay.
And then does he get a point because of his architecture stuff? Or
Right,
one or
I
two?
should. I got +2 mod for comprehend on a ruined building or other installation from the old age.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, take yourself 2 extra skill dice from that.
Okay, 5.
You're the perfect person for this.
That is many dice. This is good. Okay, let's hope it.
Oh, you're right.
out.
It is. You can get 2 extra dice.
Sorry, I don't mean to fact check you. I just remember reading
that's
that.
okay.
Okay, so I'm getting one from both of them then? One from each? Okay, so great. Then I'm up to 6 skill dice and 5 attribute. All right, let's see how this goes.
There's almost no chance you can fail.
Yay, 3 successes.
3. Awesome.
Okay. So this looks like the inside of this dome. I'm going to tell you some basic information, and I'll let you have some follow-up questions a la Apocalypse World. It looks like the dome must be some kind of arena or stadium or theater. Just kind of looking, you can kind of make out like rows of chairs on the inside, and you're guessing that the inner part of that is that. It looks like they have set up some barricades and defenses to keep people out. And this very much has a weird feeling of being kind of a ritual site. There's lots of marks, and the actual, when you look at these other scarecrows and things, there is kind of some common patterns to it. So there's clearly some cultural thing going on. Let's have you. What's a follow-up question you want to know?
Let's see. I guess based on my kind of assessment of the architecture, and then seeing the way that they've built fortifications, and just the vibe, do I have any idea what I should be looking out for here? Like as far as any specific dangers that I'm seeing or should avoid?
That's an interesting question. You will see there's some spots out here on the outside where it looks like maybe people attacked the place. And there's some damage to a couple of those spots, clearly done by the defenders, that looks pretty horrific. Like they had some weapons or something that did some serious damage, like brute force damage. And so they've clearly got some kind of weapon at their disposal that looks nasty. Okay. So you want to watch out for that.
Okay. I think I kind of give like little hand signals, as we're kind of like scouting up. If the rest of them are helping, I assume they're with me then. Yeah. So I'm kind of like pointing those things out, just like, nodding at them and hopefully giving you the gist of that.
The other thing I'm going to say you'll notice it's out of place is up on the side of the dome. You can see what seems like kind of a up high, like a structure, like a real makeshift thing. At first, you think it might be like a bird's nest, like a giant, like one of the like zone hawks or something like that. But it's not quite that laid out that way. It actually looks like somebody's built like a little like hut or lean-to up on the side, but not accessible from the ground as far as you can see.
So it looks like that has to be accessed from somewhere inside.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like it's connected on the inside.
Oh.
If somebody's getting up to there, they're either climbing the dome or flying. I'll give you one more follow-up question.
Any ideas? The rest of you? Anything specific you want to know?
Any idea of how many people are in there?
Yeah. Can I get any kind of like? That's a good thing. Can I get any sense of numbers?
Let me think here. I think that you can. You would guess that there are maybe 10 people total. Probably just about 10, you'd guess. And now it's actually raining a little heavier. You return back, relay that information. Everybody can discuss that. I heard some suggestion that Electra might try an approach.
Well, we get a sense that it's some sort of ritual site, you say?
Yes.
Or is that just the scarecrows are there to scare people?
He had a sense that they're there for that, but they're also there's definitely some ritual cultural stuff going on here.
Okay. So they have like similar uniforms or something like that, or similar like
I'd say he's not seen the people. It's more that the designs of the things that are posted outside and stuff.
Right. So do those have some sort of uniformity? What is it? Or a...
Yeah. It looks like they all have these like weird like green shirts. They're kind of old and have this sort of oval thing on the front of it and some letters. So that seems to be the thing is all of these scarecrows are wearing that.
Well, if they've gone to this length to protect this place, they must care about it a lot, and the rain will provide cover for this raid. I don't want these people to be taken by surprise if we can help it.
How do you want to proceed?
It's got to be at least one mutant in among them.
I'd be happy to sneak in on my own, but I feel like a large lizard person appearing out of total darkness might not be the best approach. They might like someone who looks a little more like you. I pointed
I can go in there, see what their deal is, what their agenda is.
We can be on hand to cover your escape if need be, but hopefully it doesn't come to that.
That's fine. I can, it'd be good to have some backup if need be, given there's about 10 of them. But, hopefully, A, they're friendly, and B, I can move pretty quick if things go south.
That sounds fair. So how do you want to approach this?
I think that to get in there, I kind of want to find the right opening, kind of the sneak up on him to start a conversation isn't exactly, that's not exactly far from what I want to do. I kind of want to get in there and be able to kind of open that discussion in a situation that I'll be able to get out of if things don't go my way. I don't want to walk straight down the barrel of a gun.
So do you think we want to do a sneak roll to start?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Then let's have you roll sneak.
You want? Can I help with that?
If you're going in with him.
You want company?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I think my job is to help you get in as close as you need to get. So helping there makes sense.
Yeah, let me pull up my sheet again. And so that would be a bonus to the skill part of it, right? One bonus die. Skill goes first. So I have 1 in sneak. That gets us to 2d6. Oh, wait, 1 sec. There. I have 3d6 agility and 0d6 gear helping me out. Just 5 dice.
Okay. Whoops. Wrong place. Yeah, I've done that so many times.
Paste. So I've got one of the yellow things and none of the successes.
Okay, so right now where you're standing is you've got a failure. Something bad's going to happen. You could push it. You're definitely going to take at least 1 point of damage because that yellow biohazard there.
If I push it, I get a mutant point, or how does that work?
Yeah, because you're going to take a point of damage. You'll get a mutation point.
Oh, yeah, I'll push it. Then so I just click the blue button?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Got a success.
Okay.
Yay!
Bam.
So you take 1 point of damage and get a mutation point.
The point of damage is this trait I was using, so agility.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. Get my mutation point. Woohoo.
So you two are moving up. Let me ask you this now, Jesse. Are you going to fall back when he gets in, or are you going to kind of try to stay with him? With her. Sorry.
I will be falling back, and
Okay.
Yeah, I won't be right up there with her.
So you will move in and kind of come down these sort of concrete halls. They've got decorations, more of these green shirts. And in some places, you'll see they've got what looks like sort of pieced together helmets that are in various places.
Pieced together out of kind of metal, hopefully.
No, like they're clearly made of like a plastic or something that's been shattered and they've been kind of glued back together.
Okay.
They also have the oval and the green color to them around this place. And you will come out, and when you sort of reach the center point, you'll see inside of this dome is an arena, and there are rows and rows of melted plastic seats, like probably 1,200, maybe more plastic seats, and just about every one of them has a skeleton in it.
A good number of skeletons.
Yeah, like it just places just this mausoleum. But you will see in the center of this is a group on the sort of the dais that's in the midst of this place that's been kind of raised up. There is this woman who's in these robes that have been stitched together from that same green fabric. She has her face painted. It's sort of half white, half green. She has this, hat kind of thing on to protect her. And she seems to be doing this ritual. And there are acolytes around her dressed similarly. There are a few others like on guard duty, but primarily they seem to be occupied with this ritual. And they're like, "Are you ready for some football?" And they're calling out that, and there's this chanting going on there amongst them.
What do you want to do?
There's sports fans. Get out of there.
There's no talking sense.
I think that if it looks like they're reaching some kind of climax, I'm almost inclined to wait a minute and watch before awkwardly stepping in and saying hi right in the middle of it. Does it look like they're like reaching something, or is this going to go on for a minute?
It looks to you like this is just the start of the ceremony here. And you will kind of see them gathering together, and it looks to you like this is some kind of ritual of the dead. Like that's the feeling that you're getting here. Like this is a great mausoleum, and these are the ritual protectors of it.
Right. If I pushed a sense of motion here, what would I have to do, and what would that get me?
You could just do a sense of motion, and that will allow you to like read a person.
Okay, I want to
Wanna
kind of read this. I'll
pierce the
push that
mask?
roll. Yeah, I've got pretty decent at that, at empathy and at that skill. So sense of motion, I've got a 1 in sense of motion and a 4 in empathy. So 1d6 skill, 4d6 empathy, and then 0d6. Oh, didn't work. Just copied that.
That's okay.
I didn't do double brackets. I 1d6, 4d6, 0d6. There we go.
Okay.
Nothing too good yet.
Want to push it?
Yeah, I'll push it.
Okay.
Oh, still no good.
So you will get out there and you're like moving up to try and judge, and they've got these torches and they're moving around and they're doing this dance, and the main woman has this triangular yellow hat on that's the rain is coming off of, and there's all this storm going on, and you kind of move up and they're doing the ceremony, and it's at that point that one of them kind of catches a glance at you, and there's this sort of wailing and screeching, and it kind of turns and it's directed at you, like they've seen you, like this ritual is going on and you've interrupted their sacred ceremony, or and you see them gathering up, and it's probably about that point that you hear the first gunshot from the raiders.
All right.
And that's where we're going to stop for tonight, because we're almost at the 10:30 mark. So we're going to take our break there, since that'll set us up for next time. And because I want to walk through the experience generation. Mm-hmm. I know, Jesse, you're just in here for this, but I want to walk through it so you can see how that works for this game.
Sure.
And then I can answer questions, or we can take feedback when we're done with that. At the end of each session, we ask some questions that will, and each sort of yes answer will generate a point of experience. Every 5 points of experience gets you either a new talent, or you can raise a skill. Hey, Lowell, can we raise our stats? No, you can never raise your stats in this game. They are stuck there forever. Never. In fact,
no, they go down.
Yes, when you get a new mutation, you get a cool new mutation, but a stat goes down permanently. That's a death spiral. Anyway, did you participate in the session? Yes, you get a point of experience. Did you perform a day's work for a project in the Ark? I think all of you did. So you get to mark experience for that. Did you explore at least one new sector in the zone? Yes. So all of you get a point for that. Sherry, do you think you sacrificed or risked something for your PC buddy? Who is your PC buddy at the table right now? And what did you do?
It's Obakaya. Yes. So, did I sacrifice anything? No, he didn't hurt himself near me, dang it.
Okay.
So that was inconvenient for me. Next time, stand by me when you're hurting.
Then get shot. Yeah. Okay.
So then I'm going to come to you, Dango. Did you sacrifice or risk something for your PC buddy? At this point, you would think, did I sacrifice or risk anything for anybody? Pick them, and they're your PC buddy.
Right. Are we? How literal are we taking sacrifice? Like, what did you like?
Sacrifice
you're talking like
or risk.
Okay, sacrifice or risk.
So,
well, I
for
guess,
example, going in with Electra, that was a risky thing.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I'll take that. So
okay,
that'll be my buddy.
So give yourself a point. Okay. Obakai, did you sacrifice or risk something for your PC buddy?
So I chose Danko as my PC buddy, and the only thing I can think of is that when he got pulled up by the tripwire, I kind of no hesitation just ran in to go deal with those people.
spent a point of mutation. You rushed in there. Yeah, I'll give you a point for that.
Cool. Thanks.
Nice.
What about you, Electra?
I don't think so. I think the closest would be going into the dome for the sake of like the party, which was like going into a dangerous situation. I don't think that it's focused enough to really push that.
Okay, that seems fine to me. There are a couple other questions that would be more if we were in the arc about messing with or protecting your NPCs. So those we won't worry about right now. The next question is, did you sacrifice or risk something to reach your big dream? I'm going to check in with the two people who have big dreams written down, and then I'm going to ask you, your two new characters, what your big dream would be, and did you do something to get there? So, Sherry, what's your big dream?
My big dream is to build a safe place where I can invent and figure things out. And it's kind of general, but I definitely was like, when this came up, I'm like, I learned a lesson. I asked for first pick on this stuff because I need the stuff.
I think that's an interesting thing. You kind of played that. You were pushing Victoria on that. What about you, Obakai?
I don't really think so. My big dream is the fall of Orion, the rise of Victoria. So, I mean, I went on the mission, but I don't know if I did anything particularly for that.
Now, we may see the point for that next time, though. Well, when you reach back with Victoria and what the payoff is. I think that's reasonable to keep in mind.
Cool.
What do you think Denko's big dream is?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think his big dream might to kind of be like carve out a little space slightly outside of the arc, but near enough to it where it's like I can live there, I can benefit, I can be part of the community without having to like deal with the noise and the people all the time. So it might be carving like just kind of having my own little hidden hideaway spot, just barely outside the arc.
And you were willing to make a deal with Victoria to get some support and backing to get the wealth that you need to do that. I'll give you a point for that.
Oh, cool. Nice.
What is Electra's big dream?
I think the big dream is to become like a power player on the arc.
Okay.
She thinks she needs to like figure out this whole kind of conspiracy first. That's like step one, that she thinks that there's, powers that be that are, clearly like working, above her level. And like, if she advanced towards that, it's because she thinks that going out here is going to have some kind of key to that because Rajon was interested in it.
That sounds perfect. Perfect. And I think that Electra, risked a resource talking to Victoria, put that on the line. I think fictionally we can give you a point for that.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 points gets you a talent or a skill level. And so that's where we'll start next time. And Michael, you're back next time, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Jesse, you're not, but I will see you for Pasiones, right?
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
That's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna play that sometime too. That looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm really kind of excited about that. But thank you guys very much. Any questions? Anything before we wrap up tonight?
I don't think so.
Not really.
I hope it was okay. We tried to get people in fast, so there is me pushing a little bit on that, but maybe we'll hopefully have a little more breathing room later for this.
It felt like we got a lot done in 2.5 hours, so I think this was a really good session.
It was cool
I had a great time.
Good. I'm glad you dug it. I'm going to stop the broadcast.